How's it going, Doom Patrollers? Welcome to a brand new Doom Patrol Season 3, Episode 4 breakdown, recap, and review. And I have to say, you know, after rewatching this again, it still cracks me up just as much as the first time. Well, I feel like what this episode did is provide so many hilarious moments whilst also progressing us throughout this mystery that surrounds Madame Rouge, or as we found out during this episode, even though we kind of knew it before through information and whatnot, Laura de Mille. But yet again, as I said, the more we learn, the more we have questions. But if you do go on to enjoy these videos, especially if you come back every week, I'd really appreciate a like on the video. It does help me out on this website more than you'd know. And of course, subscribe. Check if you are subscribed, because a lot of you who come back each and every week, you may have to type my name in, or maybe I'm just on your recommended, but you won't have to do that if you actually hit the red subscribe button. I know you probably get tired of hearing this week after week from various channels, but a lot of you aren't subscribed who actually keep coming back. So maybe today is the day you hit the red button. But let's start off with the very beginning of the episode, and that is with Kipling drinking a bunch, getting Niles' head ready to come back from the dead, and I guess speak through the vessel that is his head. And I just feel like this is, as I've kind of teased before, Doom Patrol this season has come up with very creative ways of keeping Timothy Dalton in the season, and this by far, I didn't necessarily expect it to go this way, as of when, you know, Kipling basically decapitated him. And that, as we learn later on this episode, is because, well, the amount of arcane knowledge in Niles Calder's head, he kind of wanted to keep him to himself. But obviously, with this episode, we signed Niles off in a very bizarre way, which, you know, we'll talk about that when we get to that. But this moment provided for some really funny moments, because Kipling, being Kipling, wanted to speak to Baphomet, and we all remember Baphomet from previous seasons. He has a bit of a thing for her. But what more can I say other than cracking start to the beginning of this episode? And also, I have to think that when Darren Jones turned it up to Kipling's room and we saw the silhouette on the wall, surely that had to be a John Constantine teaser, because I don't know. I mean, obviously it was Darren, and in that moment, the first time I ever saw this on my review copy, I thought, no, they didn't manage to kind of like actually get John in here, and they didn't, obviously. But I'm just trying to tell you guys, there's no way that coat collar and the way that looked on the wall, especially with Kipling's reaction, be like, oh, fuck me. I thought, oh, maybe it is John, because technically he would know of John Constantine. But up next, of course, we're back at Doom Manor, because at the end of last episode, Madame Rouge has kind of made herself at home, and none of the Doom Patrol knows who she is. And neither does she, which makes her such an interesting character. And trust me, like, I think all of us are running through our heads. Is Madame Rouge Rita, or is it not Rita? But because they have similar powers in the comics, it could seem that way. Is it too obvious and we've already got onto the fact that she's Rita, or is that what the writers want us to think, with it being obvious that we might choose to think that and it'll turn out to be something else entirely? That is the sense or the motions we're going through. At least I am, and I've seen quite a few of you try and add this up as well, and that's ever since, of course, the fact that we saw the Rita push the other Rita back into the room, and then Samuelson killed all of the Doom Patrol members. Like, and this is haunting Rita herself, as to the point in this episode where she actually breaks, well, she doesn't break the time machine, but she takes one of the vital pieces that helps it operate and travel back in time. Madame Rouge does admit to the Doom Patrol that she seems to have arrived here with one mission, and that is to find Niles Calder. This all comes up to that scene where we actually see the time drill capsule thing. I don't even know what to call that. Rita wonders what year Madame Rouge came from. She doesn't know. Like, literally, she doesn't really know anything. So in this moment, though, something very interesting happened, and she took a peek inside the time machine, and she saw the overalls that Madame Rouge was wearing. Now, don't forget that, I don't know if you guys spotted this, but on the uniform, if you will, there was a Brotherhood of Evil logo. That same logo was present where we saw the Brotherhood's logo when Monsieur Marla and Ultimax the Brain were there. And we had Gargwax, the Decimator, there. You know what I'm trying to say. So clearly, what can I tell you here? This isn't surprising to people who know even an inkling of the character. Well, that means that Madame Rouge traveled to present day. She's suffering some adverse effects from time travel, meaning no memory and things like that. But she was wearing a uniform which had the Brotherhood of Evil logo on it, meaning that surely she's from the Brotherhood of Evil. But at the same time, if she doesn't remember who she is, then that's an interesting thing with this character in the first place, because in the comics, she is a part of the Brotherhood of Evil. Now, I don't want to get into too much detail just in case they could be doing something that I might say, and this has got nothing to do with what I've seen from the next episode, by the way. But as I said, like, adaptations are innovative. We don't exactly know what they're going to do from the comics. Yes, Madame Rouge may be a member of the Brotherhood of Evil in the comics, but clearly what they've done here is also give her an opportunity, and especially with the reflection, with what she learns about some things with herself this episode, I felt bad for the character, and there is somewhat of a good side and a bad side to the character, which I feel like they could be bringing to fruition in the sense that she's just got memory loss. So as a result of that, Madame Rouge here is technically nice because she doesn't remember necessarily who she was before. But then you have to add in, if this is Rita, well, then that makes it even kind of more tragic. I don't know, like, honestly, I can make a whole separate video about this, going down the rabbit hole. But I am very intrigued in Laura de Mille, aka Madame Rouge, and how this connects to Rita. But this moment scared Rita so much because obviously, since she knows that the other version of her was wearing those same overalls and goggles that Madame Rouge was wearing, I mean, she was even photographed in the Cloverton paper, then she feels like in her gut, or an elephant or whatever, that she must know Madame Rouge somehow, which is why there was a few references and lines like that from Rita saying, I feel like we know each other, etc., etc. Is that because they're the same person? Maybe, maybe not, but at least to Rita right now, that assumption is going off the fact that they both may have used the same time machine. So in her innocent speculation, she's thinking, oh, we've both used this time machine and we've both worn the same overalls, so we must know each other. Madame Rouge learns that Niles is dead, so she's thinking, okay, I'll just go back in the past, and I like how we got a mini recap of events as to why she shouldn't go 2 weeks back, or 3 weeks back, or 4 weeks back, or whatever. But, of course, Rita's already meddled with the time machine. She doesn't want Madame Rouge to go just yet, because clearly Madame Rouge must have more answers as to who this other Rita is, according to the perspective of our Rita, if you're still with me there. I like the separate stories we have somewhat this episode. I mean, I know we do kind of go off into a little bit of a subplot with the whole zombie stuff, but, you know, with Larry, he's throwing up. I have quite a few ideas about this. This is a very interesting story for Larry, at least if it's going where I think it could be going, but for the time being, it looks as though it could be radiation sickness, because obviously the negative spirit is back at his home, and it appears, you know, when he said negative spirit release, nothing's coming out. So does this mean that he's got radiation sickness? And most certainly to Larry, he believes he's dying this episode. But then with Cliff, he is on a call to a doctor who just thinks he's a TikToker or something, because I understand in a way, if you're a robot man and you're calling up a doctor for a consultation about Parkinson's, they're probably just thinking that you're trolling. And then of course with Jane, she's literally trying to deal with her pain in the way that Kay, Chalice's grandmother, somewhat, you know, gave her advice for, so she came up with the idea after Cliff reminded her to deal with their shit, to make a straw version of Niles Coldest, but it wasn't going as smooth as she was hoping it would. Yet again, I do feel bad that she's trying to get closure this way when Cliff is the one out of everyone who got an opportunity to actually speak with Niles. Yet again, though, obviously, I feel like there's a bit of deliberate bittersweetness to that decision. But then with Vic, we get a really good scene between him and his father, and he brings up the fact that he saw his mum, and she said that maybe there was another way to save him, which obviously to Silas is just like, okay, yeah, you have finally lost it, as if he died and went to the afterlife and spoke to your mother. But I like how casually Doom Patrol does this, because I feel like in any other TV show it'd be quite out of nowhere, but here they say it and it works, but it doesn't get rid of the dramatic moment that this scene is, because I feel like Cyborg scenes with his father Silas are some of the strongest in the whole show. Javan Wade's performance is always amazing, and I just really like this scene in particular because it is kind of bringing up and confronting your dad about, well, why the cyborg tech? You know, if there was technically another way to save me through a prototype of soft skin or whatever, this tissue, why didn't you take that? And you do kind of have that little seed in you, so to speak, that since his dad didn't get clearance for clinical trials with regards to his cyborg tech, well, he kind of did that and took that excuse for when his son was dying to do that. So it does look like he could have chose the other option. Again, you can kind of look into this, and especially combined with that scene where Cyborg holds that reflection so he can like make the other side of his face look like, well, his human side. it's progressing more of the story of who am I without my tech, what am I without my tech, and everything like that. I feel like, as I said in my last episode review, Cliff said something quite profound to Cyborg with how that isn't what makes him him, and take it from Cliff Steele, the Robot Man. But we also learned that Silas Stone has more or less lost his job at Star Labs through how much he's covering for his son when he basically aided and abetted Ronnie Evers from, doing what she did in that one episode. In the next moment, we find that there is more indeed to that key and key chain, if you will, or whatever, that Rita first realized because Madame Rouge finds another keyhole and she turns it, and then the chessboard moves, which just makes you think how much secret passageways has Niles Calder got in Doom Manor. But this really, really makes me fascinated because inside is a film capsule of the Sisterhood of Dada, or at least the logo of it on there. And I like how they had a little chocolate bar in there. Niles even kept a little bit of freaking chocolate in his little secret safe area. In the meantime as well, we do have Rita tell Larry that literally there was another version of Rita when they all died. And she's now come to the conclusion that she must be a world-renowned time traveler. And I like how honest he is with Rita in this moment, saying, okay, fair enough, but like, what makes you think it's renowned? Maybe it's just you trying to make something more out of it than what it is. And that is kind of with the formula of Rita, on to the next thing, on to the next thing, the beekeeper, that didn't work. Also, now I must be a world-renowned time traveler. But like, I think she needs to find, well, just like a lot of the theme this season, with everyone finding somewhat of an identity, what really makes her her. And obviously with whatever trippy journey Rita is on this season, they're definitely giving that to her. But this is what kicks off the absolute crazy ass stuff that happens this episode, because Rita licked Larry's head. That was so funny, just that moment when she just was like, oh. And so the reason why everybody had been itching themselves up until this point is because they are actually dead. But before we dive into all of that craziness, which honestly is some of the funniest stuff I've seen on Doom Patrol to date, we have Madame Rouge looking at the film. Now, as I said, that's definitely the Sisterhood of Dada. We know that much. She puts the film on and it has like a really old noir type slideshow saying woman petting cat, Shelley Byron as woman, and Laura de Mille as cat. As we know, eventually, well, and she finds out that Laura de Mille is her. And this was like a really, really trippy kind of, I still can't exactly figure out what this is, and I don't think we're meant to know right now, even if we are keeping an extra eye close to what is going on. I found it super interesting how Shelley Byron, who is the Fog out of the Sisterhood of Dada, so just giving you some insight there, that woman sat in the chair is like the main woman from the trailers, if you will, the Fog, and she's going to be something to reckon with potentially for the Doom Patrol. But the way she was just looking into the camera, it literally made it look as though she was looking right at Madame Rouge. And I know that's the point when you look into a camera like this, looks like I'm looking at you, but that kind of glare just didn't go away, and something about it was really creepy. I have absolutely no idea what to make of the dance that she just suddenly gets into, doing all of these deliberate moves. It was more of a place, I feel, that came from intuition for Laura de Mille. I don't even know what to call her. Do we just keep calling her Madame Rouge or Laura? I feel like Madame Rouge still. But clearly, I think that's something instinctual or intuitive. It's somewhat locked away in her subconscious. Is that some weird-ass kind of dance that the Sisterhood does? Clearly, she pertains to the Sisterhood of Dada somehow. Maybe she was a member, but then again, as I said, Madame Rouge that we know is a member of the Brotherhood of Evil. Yet the Brotherhood did send out that termination contract for Rita, which is probably what's got people thinking that maybe she is Madame Rouge, but like, this is what I mean. It gets so trippy. But anyway, she realizes that she's a bird, and she's absolutely astonished with that, which means she can literally shapeshift like Beast Boy, yeah? Even though she has similar powers to Rita. So does that mean that Rita has these abilities as well? And just as we're about to break through the ice on Madame Rouge's story, that's when we're kind of sidelined, and I am not complaining because I loved this little side adventure that we got through the Doom Patrol all turning into zombies and wanting nothing more than some brains. But that's when Kipling comes in, because, as we know from earlier, Darren Jones went to visit him, took the head hostage of Niles Calder, so he needs the Doom Patrol's help in order to get that back, even though we know that he eventually ends up submitting the head to the Doom Patrol, even though he could have selfishly still taken it. It shows that there is a little bit of a soft side to Kipling still. I thought that the zombie speech with the subtitles was just hilarious, because yeah, some of it was just simple, kind of, whippy jokes, but then then it just got into some more sincere lines later. I don't know. I think my particular favorite one is when Jane just goes, hey, and it's, I mean, obviously that's what they're all doing, but it's when she announces that Darren is a freaking werebutt. But it was just such a Doom Patrol moment. So that's personally my favorite zombie text-to-speech one or whatever. What is yours, and from which character and why? But next up, Kipling plays a VHS that Darren left him, and this reveals that, oh, I've got your freaking leader's head, and I love how Robot Man's just like, so like, who gives a fuck? He says, if you want it back, you'll come see me. As we know, Darren is just completely kind of lost his mind after having the Bureau of Oddities, or Normalcy, shall I say, completely taken from him. He's literally a shell of the man that he was, and something else entirely as well. Now, obviously, Madame Rouge is totally game for saving Niles, because she is here. The one thing that she does remember is that the mission that she is on pertains to Niles Calder. Now, you could say that if she was sent from the Brotherhood initially, that they, as we know, the Brotherhood are always after Niles Calder, and maybe it's something to do with that, who knows, but she at least thinks that he can unlock some of her memories, which is when Kipling opens up one of his portals with his cigarette, and that takes us to the little creepy place where Darren is kind of hiding out. And of course, Kipling gives Madame Rouge some petrified dragon's piss to take out Darren, but that doesn't exactly work out, because it turns out that she can turn into a freaking stool, or whatever that was, a cushioned stool. I don't know. This is what I mean. Like, I know Rita is capable of this elasticity and whatnot, but I don't know if she is capable of these other things that Madame Rouge is doing. And now I guess you could get into your theory thinking maybe Madame Rouge is a much more advanced down the line version of Rita, if you want to get into how she can do more things with her powers. Just side commentary. I don't know if any of you are still going along the same route of them being the same character. I like the Solomon Grundy reference as well from Kipling. This is when the episode just goes off the walls crazy. Literally just so crazy. Darren Jones, I thought he was absolutely hilarious. He's so run through. I think the way his acting came across was just so perfect. He just wants some satisfaction from the Doom Patrol, but they just don't give him any satisfaction. They don't even ask him what he wanted them to ask him about, well, why did your wife leave you? But regardless, it was revealed nonetheless, and that is because, as Jane puts it, he is a mother-fudging werebutt. They literally did a werebutt, and this is it's impeccable. What more can I say other than this moment here personifies crazy Doom Patrol? We have a werebutt, or Darren Jones, transform into a werebutt, who then literally calls out for other butts so he can summon a load of butts, since he is the pack leader, or the alpha butt, I suppose. And then we literally have the Doom Patrol fighting them in the most wacky of ways. As I said, Madame Rouge falls through the freaking roof in her stool mode. It's always so cool as well when Kipling gets his flaming sword out, and we had Larry with a freaking chainsaw, and Cliff just with his super strength. Absolute fantastic moment. I could gush over it forever, but I guess we need to move on. Up next is somewhat of a farewell scene from Niles to Kipling, which is when he basically offers his own brain up to cure the people's lives that he has ruined. And I think that's a nice poetic full circle. It's such an absurd full circle to the story, but that is what Doom Patrol is. I mean, think about it. He destroyed their lives, so what is more fitting than them to literally destroy him finally through eating their brains, which in turn then also cures them. But the more interesting thing that came out of this scene, other than Kipling's farewell, is the scene with Madame Rouge, because she finally gets to talk to the man she's literally time traveled here to see. And that's when she comes off very candidly speaking, saying, look, I'm very sorry I need to ask anything of you in a time like this, but I'm in somewhat of a need and stuff. She's very, very polite and just, look, I just need to talk to you. And Niles, when he speaks back to her, as Madame Rouge says, there's such venom there, such almost this combative aggression. It's like, I know who you are. And the thing is, though, he says that he knows her all too well. Now, I'm sorry to say it again, even though I'm not a proper believer of the Rita is Madame Rouge thing, but it's like, if that is true, then, I mean, what more tragic of a thing that there's this version of Rita that he probably loves, and clearly, as I've pointed out in my separate reviews, and he trusts Rita most of all. Like, that's why he left this burden to her. So it must be hard for Chief, if this does end up being true, to know that there's this other half of her, for some reason or another, that turns out evil. But that could be such an interesting dynamic when you rewatch this scene with that context in mind, which we don't know if it's true or not yet. which would make it make so much more sense. But that might not be the case, and if it isn't, well, it's still very, very interesting because of how much disdain that Niles Calder has for this woman. Yet I still feel bad for Laura de Mille because she is clearly bothered by how much venom that Niles Calder has for her. Niles is just wanting to get this over and done with, like, do you agree or not? So a brilliant scene, absolutely brilliant scene, but once again, more questions than answers. Give me answers, I need answers. The next scene was both hilarious and very Doom Patrol sweet. Yeah, I can't believe I said that word, thing to do, because we had the Doom Patrol eat Niles' brain to cure them all, and Jane was like crying as she was wanting to eat him, saying things like, you know, there's so much I want to say to you, but clearly she can't really get it out in zombie mode. But yeah, I guess, you know, technically speaking, is that it from Niles Calder? I would say never. This might be the planned it or end for now, but I also wouldn't be surprised if in somehow, some way, Timothy Dalton does make a return in a ghost form, or if, you know, Kipling summons his spirit or something in some story. I can't guarantee that for this season. I have no bloody idea, but at least for now, I think we can assume that this is it for now in this season, I guess. But if so, you know, it's very bittersweet because I love Timothy Dalton. I would love him to be on the show still. But this, I'm still happy with the way this, because this also springboards, as I keep mentioning, a lot of other things for this season with him being gone. Like, who are the Doom Patrol without this man? And that's been a thing they've been tackling ever since episode 1, despite him still being in those episodes. But this is, you know, finally the golf swing that will hopefully, or will, put them into the next avenue of no Niles Calder at all. But as we know, Niles also gave her some documents, of which he said that, you know, if I give you these, will you just basically F off? And we have Madame Rouge reading a memorandum for the Bureau, saying, subject Laura de Mille, February 9th, 1949. Very interestingly to note also the date of when Garguax went and saw the Brotherhood of Evil in that very scene. That was 1949. Laura de Mille is a disloyal and self-serving cancer to be excised. It is my strong recommendation that she be terminated immediately. Now, yet again, as I said, what has this woman done in the time of when Niles was serving the Bureau? But you can clearly tell that this woman, who doesn't know who she is very upset to hear that, well, if who I am is being perceived like this, well then who wants to learn that about themselves, you know? That somebody recommended that they were to be killed as a result of who they are, this cancer. We have Rita talking to her about did Niles give her the answers she needed, and she's certain that they know each other. Rita offers her an oatmeal cookie, which she is also thinking that would be nice. So do they both like oatmeal cookies because they are the same person? But when Rita went off to go get the cookies, that is when the recording that she was looking at once again zooms out, and none other than Rita Farr, the world-renowned time traveler, I don't know, was there. And she was doing something with her hand. I don't know what she was doing. I seriously, I've watched this 1,000 times. I do not know what she was doing, but this is the very thing that when I saw this quite a while ago now, my review copy, I was thinking, this is the very thing that threw me off them being the same person. But it doesn't technically, as we know in many iterations in TV shows and movies, in time travel, just because Rita is there doesn't necessarily discount Madame Rouge still being her, that you can have two of you in one place in certain, well, it depends what rules of time travel you want to do in your iteration of a TV show or whatever, but obviously makes things even more interesting. What have I said this episode again and again? More questions than answers. But is that a bad thing? Hell no. No, I love this. And we should just point out that Rita did look as though she was not trying to be detected, so she was trying to sneak in that situation. So the Sisterhood, I'm guessing that's the Sisterhood, by the way, just because obviously the fog is there with Madame Rouge. She was maybe trying to infiltrate. I don't know. This is what I mean. I'm so interested in this. But then we got an after-credits scene with Darren Jones, the werebutt, who has survived, and he's heading to Cloverton. So I don't know if this means we're going to get like another little funny episode where the butts have like overtaken or overrun Cloverton town. All in all, guys, like I know it's been a bit of a rambly review. It was a great episode. I honestly really enjoyed this. Keeps up the status quo of Doom Patrol. Introduced some hilarious moments that, even if on paper, knowing what Doom Patrol's been like for the past 2 seasons, if I read that they were doing zombies, as the Doom Patrol being zombies and dying and stuff, like, I still don't know if I would have believed that, but once again, they pull it off with masterful execution. I sincerely mean that, and I'm just so happy because it's great. 4 episodes in, I trust you guys enjoyed this episode. I mean, I haven't read the comments because I'm recording this right now, I suppose, but I assume that you did. I assume that you're intrigued by the mystery and you want to get down to the bottom of that barrel more than I freaking do. I mean, I don't know if that's possible, but we can talk about it in the comment section. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. As always, the top pinned comment is my comment where you can follow me on Twitter, Discord, all good places like that if you want to stay in contact with me a bit further or whatever. Do like the video if you did enjoy it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more rambly videos like this. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you members of the Doom Patrol in the next video. Goodbye.